I am a member of the 822 VFW Honor Guard. I have been for about 15 years. And it seems like there was about at least a half a dozen of us from World War II at the time when I began. Right now, I think I'm the only one left in the Honor Guard at 822 that is from World War II. So I still would like to try to remember everything I'd done during the war. Invasion of Europe was the greatest invasion ever done by anyone in the military. I missed that, and I am glad because I might not have been here talking to you right now. But I didn't miss it very much. It was about a month and a half later when we got to Europe, from England to France, and the front lines was still in France. And it didn't take much for us to lose members with wounds from a booby trap that was set up by the enemy. One of those was my cousin, who was told by the colonel to pull the roadblock out of the way. And we were taught in our training, you put a rope on it and pulled it out of the way in case there's a booby trap. But the colonel wanted to get through that immediately. So when it went off, my cousin got wounded, and I hadn't seen him for several years after the war. But the colonel also got wounded, so probably served him right. That was our first experience in the European theater. My second experience is we were assigned, I was in the combat engineers, and the combat engineers, they will assign you to whoever needs you. And this particular time when we were taking Aachen, they set our battalion of engineers in his infantry. And I happened to be in the foxhole, and one bullet hit my machine gun and knocked the pistol grips off the machine gun. And before that, I never believed in smoking cigarettes. But I immediately lit up a cigarette and started smoking. I smoked for 15 years before my family decided that they didn't want me to be smoking. And it's a good thing, because that was 1957, if I remember correctly. So whatever health I do have, it's probably because I don't smoke. The second encounter I had with the enemy was they had the Sing-Free line had pillboxes all along that line, and our job was to get them out. So this one particular pillbox, being the leader of the squad, I kept the men back, but I went up and I threw a hand grenade in one of their portholes in it, and we went around on the inside of the pillbox, and those that were dead inside had been dead. It was not my doings, so I felt good that I did not kill anyone. But I put 300 pounds of dynamite in that pillbox, and then I lit one fuse, and it was burning as I lit the second fuse to make sure that it was going to be blown up when I left. So finally the wind was blowing, but I did finally get the second fuse lit, and then I took off to join my men in a safe position, and it destroyed that pillbox completely. And the next thing we were doing, we were planting mines between the American forces and the German forces. Also, other nights we were digging mines. And as we got to the furthest infantry, they would ask us what's the password, so we told them, and then we asked for the countersign, and when they gave us the right countersign, they said, where are you going? And we said, we're going up here to lay some mines and some barbed wire. Well, don't you know I'm the furthest one up front? Yeah, I guess we knew that. You poor SOB. Other jobs we had, when the road needed repair, we'd be working with our shovels, and being engineers, we had to work on the road. When General Patton or someone else would come by, we'd have to salute, and then until they got away from us, then we would continue our work. And one time on the main river of Germany, the spring, the high waters took the bridge, the floating bridge downstream a little, and we had to correct that, had to bring that back up. Another job, when we were building bridges, we had to build this one from the timbers that we cut. We took over a German sawmill, cut up the timbers, and used them for building the bridge in Essen, Germany. And that one there took a little while. Yeah, and that only wound I got was getting too close to the acetylene torch, and I burnt my wrist a little bit. Another time we were digging the mines, we were accumulating all of these mines, and then we put them inside of another pillbox, and with the intention of blowing the pillbox and destroying all the mines. But the 88 started coming in, and when they were getting too close to us, we jumped in our truck and went to a safe area until dark. Then came back and blew that pillbox with all the mines in it. Before we blew it up, of course, we took this motorcycle out of there, and we played with that for a couple months. Yeah, we were called on in, I believe it was November, to build the road in the Netherlands, to build a road in the cemetery. And the job was given to my platoon, and it was supposed to have been done in 1 week, but it took us considerably longer because it rained every single day, and it rained so bad that the gravel we put in sunk into the ground, and we got saplings out of the Hurtgen forest and laid them down, but the ends turned up. So then we got bigger logs, and we pinned them to each other with big spikes. And then we built the road on top of that. And they were happy that they had this road in there. And one of my men got wounded by a mortar, and our medic went to get him, and the medic got hit direct with that mortar, and he's buried in this cemetery in Margraten, Holland. And my platoon is on the back page of that. And I'm the tallest one with the shovel. And the rest of those are my squad. But anyway, they were so happy with this, and they were so happy that we saved them from the Germans, that they put a big book like this, and almost everybody in Holland has this book. And I have mine, it's in English. Mine is not in their language. But they interviewed me. They came here to the United States and spent 8 hours with me. And this is what the book is. I'm in 5 different pages in that book, including my squad on the back. After that, we had the Battle of the Bulge. And we were in there. At one time we were surrounded, and when the Germans wanted to have us surrender, the general says nuts, and the German says was ist das? Nuts. So anyway, that was that. Shortly after that, it was in 1945, April, and that was Easter Sunday. We went to work. We went to Mass at 4:30 in the morning, and then went to work putting a bridge across the Rhine River, which ended up being the longest floating bridge in military history. Went across the Rhine River. The Navy helped us. The water was high in the spring, and they took this big anchor that we made out of concrete, and they put it upstream to hold that bridge in place. And the bridge was done within 2 days. And George Patton, with his tanks, went bumper to bumper across that bridge. And in May, which was only a month, the war ended. So we feel as though we had a part of that. Another thing that I can't forget is my brother flew P-47s, and in July of that year, 3 P-47s came from England to see me, because he never seen me in uniform, even though I'd been through all these battles except the invasion. These 3 P-47s landed there. I was charged of quarters, and I didn't know they were coming. And that was really something for my brother to see me. I guess my time is about up. So anyway, I'm back and I'm safe. Yeah.